Raymond, look at mommy.
Maybe the light hurts his eyes.
Maybe she's just not hungry.
Maybe he can't hear us.
Maybe we're not stimulating him enough. Maybe it's a phase.
Avoiding eye contact is one early sign of autism. Learn the others today. The sooner it's diagnosed, the better.
On one cold evening, several people of diverse backgrounds gather in a laundromat in Baltimore, sharing ideas and a common love through music and stories. The curator of the event, Douglas, explains the importance of community in Baltimore.
Community is so important to Baltimore because that's what defines Baltimore. It doesn't exist without its neighborhoods. If you ask anybody, they'll tell you two things: the neighborhood they come from and the high school they went to. And that's just a part of what is Baltimore's identity.
While people continue to wash and fold their clothes, they become exposed to musicians and people who undoubtedly have one thing in common: a love for Baltimore.
So anytime we get together to say what we love, what we like, and what we need is a great opportunity to move any discussion.
How many bullets is a black back hole? They kill us every day. We only heard about the hollow. 41 bullets, I heard the tip was hollow.
Musician who goes by the name of Jahiki describes what this event means to Baltimore and to the people and artists who attended it.
It's a good place for people to be able to talk, and for artists, it's a way to create in a different way. So if there are 20 artists here tonight, this experience may cause you to write, create, draw something that you would not have had you not come to this. So it's just abstract, so I dig that, you know what I mean?
The laundromat gave people of Baltimore an opportunity to come together as a community.
We're here at Clark Atlanta University's Heritage Commons where upperclassmen live. It's not unusual for students to come in and swipe their paw cards in order to get in, but allegedly, someone came in without their access. Here's what happened. Oddly enough, Clark Atlanta University has an open campus policy where you never know who is actually a student or a faculty member. The victim, Alexis White, told us how everything that she had was completely destroyed when she came back to her room after class.
Everything was destroyed, my bed, stuff was literally all over the place. My laptop, which was on my bed, it was completely missing. Everything was thrown on the floor. My TV was cracked, destroyed, laying on the floor. I noticed that a couple of items that I had on my desk was missing.
She then added that she had accusations of close friends, but wasn't quite sure. We spoke briefly with Officer Trawick about student protocol and ways students can stay safe on campus.
One thing that we tell our students when they arrive at Clark Atlanta University is first to understand that you can't have a false sense of security because you're on a college campus. And that's what happens with our young people. Our young people come here with a false sense of security, and then they trust individuals of which they've recently met. We have student forums to attempt to educate our students on the perils that they face, not only within the city, but within the interior of our campus. And what I encourage our students to do is just lock your doors, lock your equipment up. If you do that,
Chief Trawick says if there are any questions or concerns regarding burglaries or robberies on Clark Atlanta University's campus, dial 404-880-8911. Also, helpful tips may include writing your serial numbers from your electronic devices down and also inputting tracking devices. I'm Darika Young reporting to you from Dogus 30.
Located in Trevor Arnett Hall on the second floor, Clark Atlanta University's Art Gallery has earned the distinction of possessing one of the largest and most historically significant collections of art by African Americans. Today, I had the pleasure of speaking to the director of the Art Gallery, Dr. Tina Dunkley. When I spoke with Dr. Dunkley on how influential Clark Atlanta University's Art Gallery is to its students, here's what she had to say.
You understand where they say a picture's worth 1,000 words? Well, trust me, it's worth a lot more than that, because it takes you into a realm of history, knowledge. It also, it readjusts your eye and therefore your mind of being able to see things and understand them based on certain information that's being put in there.
The pieces contained within Clark Atlanta University's Art Gallery are the supreme quality and significance. The works are donated by friends of the institution and gifts given by patrons of the art world. Some of today's most influential painters and artists have worked on the expedition at the Art Gallery. The gallery and the collection serve the interests and goals of both the university and general public by providing a range of aesthetic and educational experiences.
When we give tours, to name any famous artist, any famous visual artist that you know, and crowds of solid people of color will go down the list of Picasso, Rembrandt. They'll name all of these artists, and really will they name an artist that looks like us.
I'm Kelvin McNeil reporting to you from Dogus 30. Thank you for viewing.
Maybe he's really focused.
Hey, Michael. Michael. Maybe he likes spinning the wheels.
Maybe he just loves trucks.
Maybe he's just being a boy.
Preoccupation with objects is one early sign of autism. Learn the others today. The sooner it's diagnosed, the better.
So they say it's a man's world? Well, I don't see anybody's name on it. While they were out doing their thing, we slowly changed all that. We changed all that. Today, women can do anything men can do. And there's one thing we're even better at.
Lenox Mall in Atlanta, Georgia is a popular mall where people of all ages go to shop and have a good time with the variety of clothing stores available. It wasn't so much of a good time last week when a group of young adults walked into the mall and had a flash mob at the food court to promote their party. Here's a little bit of the footage. Even though the kids were being harmless and just dancing, not everyone was enjoying the show, and some people even thought the performance was a bit of a mall disturbance and felt uncomfortable that kids were dancing and shouting on tables while people with their friends and families were trying to relax and enjoy their meal. The mall is supposed to be a place to get out and have fun, and not for an unplanned party, but with all the complaints, this may be the last flash mob the mall sees for a very long time.
In the search for Clark Atlanta University's fourth president, the Board of Trustees and its Presidential Search Committee invited nominations and expressions of interest recently, an exceptional opportunity to lead one of the top private research historically black colleges and universities in the nation.
This vacancy is in the results of President Carlton E. Brown retiring from a 7-year presidency of impeccable service and leadership.
In a sit-down with President Brown, he discussed his expectations for the next president and also his future plans.
Jump right in it. So tell the students about your presidency at CAU.
Well, it's been an exciting presidency. There's been a lot going on during our time period. I became president as the recession began. And so we had to do a lot of things in my first year that no first-year president ever wants to do. We had to make some changes in order to survive. We did that well. And then we've been really spending all of our time rebuilding infrastructure, rebuilding process, expanding some of the critical offices, but also trying to make sure that we're responding to students in all the good and appropriate ways. Changes in the athletics program that has led us to 6 championships in the last 7 years, which is more than we had in any 20-year period prior to that. Very simple formula: recruit good people who want this degree, who happen to play these sports, and you win more than you lose.
Awesome. All right. What are some of your outstanding accomplishments that have stood out? And tell us about your legacy at CAU.
Well, I'll leave the legacy piece to others. I can tell you what we have gotten done. We have rebuilt our financial operations, leading us to 6 years now of clean audits, no repeat audit findings. We've built a much more efficient operation. We saved probably $2 million in utility costs over the past 2 years, which then, of course, enables us to do other kinds of things. We have also rebuilt our research and sponsored programs operation so that it can pursue more grants and contracts, which they're doing. We've built the Center for Cancer Research and Therapeutic Development to the largest of its kind in the country. So it's the largest prostate cancer center in the country. In the past 3 years, they have booked 9 new disclosures of discoveries and procedures, leading to 4 patents with 3 more pending. and we're beginning to attract the kinds of researchers that everybody wants. So postdoctors coming out of Harvard, Yale, UC Berkeley, Stanford, and places like that. So we're building that kind of thing. We're expanding our nanoscale center in some beautiful ways. And you should know there's a Savannah State, former Savannah State student that finished our doctorate program in chemistry, who created a new nanostructure for the delivery of cancer drugs to the body.
Awesome.
So a lot of good things are happening. Lots of new research is taking place. We're expanding in the material sciences. So that's been a big piece. We're now rebuilding the structures for institutional advancement with new personnel and new capability, so that we can begin to brand ourselves a little bit better and do a bit more work in terms of financial solicitations and getting that kind of work done. Of course, we involve a lot of students in that process too, because that's what we're selling.
Exactly.
We're saying we want somebody to produce more of these,
Exactly.
then you have to help us do that.
Exactly.
So in fact, tomorrow I think it is, I'm taking 2 of our students to a meeting sponsored by the Georgia Council for Independent Colleges, where a number of state legislators are going to be. Okay. And so I'm taking the kinds of students who've used state funds for their education and showing them what the product really looks like.
Awesome, awesome. Great stuff coming about. We know that there is in a process that you are leaving us, and we're very saddened to hear. As your presidency at Clark Atlanta comes to an end, what are your expectations for the new president of Clark Atlanta?
Interesting question. And of course, it is not me that has to have the expectations. It's the Board of Trustees and the rest of the community. But here's what I would say. We can make sure that the incoming president has an understanding of all the bells and whistles, the strategic plan, et cetera, et cetera. But what I would communicate to the president is that there are modes of communication and connectivity here that they need to pay attention to. Even when things go wrong here, there's an expectation among our students that somebody's going to respond to this, and they're going to respond in a respectful way and get respect back in return. So you can't ignore the student body, and you need to establish a relationship with your students that will help you get through the tough times. If you don't do that, then there will be some difficult times as the institution continues to change and as the society continues to have its economic difficulties. I would also say, don't let this institution live in the shadow of other institutions. We're the only research university in the entire UNCF community. We're certainly the only one on these grounds right here. And we should assert that every day. And while this is a college-rich town, so it's difficult to find space here, you have to assert that space. And the best way to do that is to put faculty and students in front.
Exactly. Great words, great words. As president, of course, there are a lot of responsibilities and a lot of things that you have to attend to. What's a stress-free evening like for you?
Well, one of the 10,000 reasons that I'm retiring is that, done right, there is no such thing as a stress-free evening for a president. There's only a less stressful evening than some others might be. But being president of a university, a residential university, all the things that we do, study abroad, research, it's a 24-hour-a-day, 365 days out of the year job. And so you're never off.
The new president of Clark Atlanta will enjoy a strong support base for the research agenda that the faculty has developed into a national reputation for excellence. The challenge for the next president will be the acquisition of continued grants, the development of effective new partnerships, and increased fundraising for endowments to provide long-term stability for scholars in their work.
You have many stress-free.
I'm going to work on that.
Name one or more things you would like to have accomplished before your departure for us.
Well, we're just about there on all of them. Probably the most important thing that we've done is to put together the current strategic plan, which is the plan that will take us to the big time. It will take us to the big time because it's a very focused plan. It requires deep change inside the institution. And so this year we've been pressing forward on some final pieces of that, including a movement to a more performance-driven organization where the strategic plan has to be pressed down through the entire organization, including all the faculty, so that everyone has annual tasks to complete to meet the needs of the strategic plan. We're going to get to some deep curriculum change. We are probably going to put in place a new core curriculum starting this fall. I just met with that faculty committee yesterday. I'm very excited about what they're doing because it's going to be some new and interesting stuff. And it's going to be outcomes driven. And it's going to be driven in such a way that every student will know exactly where they are, not just in terms of meeting courses, because we're not talking about courses, we're talking about experiences, some of which are courses. But you'll know exactly what your development trajectory will be as you go forward, and you'll know what you need to do to continue to develop yourself. We're going to continue, and we launched new international activity with larger numbers of international students on campus. That will continue to grow. We're working on profiles for students for each academic discipline so that we can target recruitment. And as I tell folks all the time, students find their way to some extent by spirit, because if you don't find your correct academic home, then the magic doesn't happen. It's only when you know you're in your place that it happens. So then we have to make sure that larger numbers of students know that this place can be for them. Just as there are times when recruitment is taking place and the buses come through. Sometimes there are folks that think they're going to one of the other institutions till they get to the promenade. Okay, then they realize, oh my, had no idea people could interact with you like this, people respond to you like this, and they make that change fairly quickly.
We asked a few students on the campus of Clark Atlanta University how they felt on a few issues.
What are your thoughts about President Brown leaving?
Well, I'm actually happy that he is retiring, but I'm kind of actually sad because he was the president who I came in with, and I would have liked to walk across the stage and shook his hand.
What would you like to see changed or improved on the campus of Clark Atlanta University?
Change. I think Clark needs to be a little more together. I feel like we're kind of separated. Everyone is pretty cliquey, so I feel like if we all come together, it will be a good university, a better university, I should say.
I would like to see better housing, more facilities for the students. I also would like to see more restaurants and better administration as far as organization and planning.
The future president of CAU, I do hope you love this school like I love this school, because the school means a lot to me. So please enjoy yourself as president and be the best that you can be.
Okay, future president of Clark Atlanta University. What I want is the old Clark back. I want student fun. And I feel like the student activities and the whole, it's kind of not there anymore. So I want Clark fun back. I got here a while ago, so I kind of know how it was. But new Clark Atlanta president, can you please do that?
The outgoing message, I'll actually start by going back to history moments. If you haven't heard me say this before, you'll hear it this time. The beginnings of both Clark College and Atlanta University were high aspiration beginnings. Both of them were named university at the very beginning because the expectation was that these were the institutions that could achieve that kind of height, which they have. Now, Clark University became Clark College at a moment in time when things had to shift for them. But finding their spiritual aspiration reborn in 1988, when the two come together as Clark Atlanta University. But the phrase that was used in the movement from their old location to when they were co-located here, and people were doubting about the future, the phrase that the president came up with then and that talked to all the students was, "You are second to none." So I say that to our current students. that you may find institutions that maybe right next door to you that appear to have more hype than you do. But then I ask you, where do they come to get the things that they need? They come here. Okay, you know that, I know that. You are an inventive group of students, more inventive than others I've ever seen. This place attracts and prepares more talent than any other place I've ever seen. And you become very innovative on graduation. So you know who Kenny Leon is, for example. Kenny was a political science major. He was not a drama major. But that's what we develop here, the capability to remake yourself, to reinvent, to try new things and succeed at those things. That's what we've done historically. So know that that's who you are, and know that that's who you are to become, and then speak it into existence and then go live it. For me, because these rhythms are the ones that I live on.
The faculty and students of Clark Atlanta University wish Dr. Brown a farewell.